Hey guys, so today I'm gonna share with you a story, and I'm calling this story my martial arts journey. Now, before I get into it, I want you guys to understand something. Once again, if you watched yesterday's video, I told you guys that I am a certified instructor in Taekwondo through the Tiger Rock Company. Um, Tiger Rock is they focus on Taekwondo because of its history, and I'll make another video about the history of Taekwondo another day. Um, but we also have other things incorporated into it. We have Hamando, which, if you look that up, it was made by our highest ranked black belt, which is our 10th degree guy. His name is Dr. Kim. Very nice guy. I had a chance to meet him when I went to the World Tournament last year. Hamando basically like joint locks and throws and stuff. Anyway, moving on. My story starts back when I was around 8 years old. We lived in a small town in Washington State called Omak, and they had taekwondo and martial arts and stuff there, like little small gyms. But I was never allowed to join. My parents, we didn't have the money for it. We couldn't afford it at the time, so I didn't have a chance to do that. But I always, my whole life, wanted to do sports. Like, I always loved, I had a nose for sports. That's just something I wanted to do. And so, because of that, I loved watching like UFC events. I loved watching fighting and stuff like that. And so, I always wanted to do, martial arts in general. So, moved down to Texas, and I had a friend there. I'm not going to tell his name, but I had a friend there who was a black belt in, I think it was ITA or WTF or something like that, Taekwondo. Which, if you know what that is, it's International Taekwondo Association. Like ITA and WTF is World Taekwondo Federation, I think, something like that. Anyway, and he was a black belt in one of those. And I always enjoyed watching him, practice his taekwondo and stuff. It was actually really cool to watch him. And I always wanted to join. And I even asked my parents one day, I said, hey, this guy, he does taekwondo out in the next town over, which was not that far from where we lived. Can I do it? And they still said no, we didn't have the money for it. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. But, so anyway, I moved down to where we are now, which is Florida. And we're out, and our church, we play flag football every other Sunday. And about 4 years ago, we were playing, and one of our church members, because I'm a Christian, I do go to church. One of our church members, he runs a taekwondo gym. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, and he would come out, we would ask him, questions about that. And we would see him every now and then performing and doing tricks and stuff like that. And one day he asked me, he said, hey Joe, why don't you come out and try a class? And I was like, I don't know if I can. Cause I was actually going to school during this time. I was still in high school. And he was like, no, man, you gotta come out, you gotta try a class. And I was like, all right. And I asked my dad, I said, hey, Dad, my martial arts instructor, I said, hey, he wants me to come out and try a class. My dad said, no, we can't afford it right now. And so I was like, all right. So I went and I told my instructor, his name is John. I told John, I was like, hey, John, my dad said that I can't do it. We don't have the money for it. He says, I'll tell you what. If you start, what I'll let you do is this. Twice a week, you have to come in and clean the academy. I was like, just clean it, and then what? I don't have to pay? He said, no, you don't have to pay. You come in, you clean the academy, you don't have to pay, you're working for me, you're good. You can train for free as many times as you want throughout the week, but twice a week you have to come in and clean the academy. I was like, great. I'll go home, I'll tell my dad, we can work this out. So I went home, told my dad, and my dad said, well, I mean, that's something you want to do. If that's the deal that you made with him, great, do it. So, anyway, push comes to shove. We get everything squared away. I go in and I clean the academy twice a week, every week. And what that taught me, was you're cleaning something, you're working for it, it's something that you really want. If you put the effort into it, you're going to get it. So my martial arts story continues on. I take 2 years off because I have to go to school. I went my senior year of high school. I went to a boarding academy out in Mississippi. That's where I graduated from high school, and then I went to college out in Tennessee. But even still, even when I was in high school, away from home, I was still training. I still wanted to train because I loved what I did. I loved Taekwondo so much. And because of that, my roommate, who is still my best friend to this day, he saw what I was doing and he wanted me to show him a few things here and there. So I was like, all right, I'll teach him simple things. Like I taught him how to perform a side kick. I taught him how to perform a front kick and a round kick, which I'll make videos on those later. I taught him how to do all that. Taught him about the different types of blocks that we do in Taekwondo. I'll make videos about that, don't worry. And I showed him all these different things, and I realized that I loved teaching. And not only did my roommate want to learn, other people were seeing that I was showing him, and they wanted to learn too. And I realized how much I loved teaching Taekwondo. And let me back up. In my junior year of high school, I actually did online schooling through this thing we have here in Florida. I think they have it in every state, but you can do online high school and stuff like that. In my junior year, when I was homeschooled, I also would teach, not Taekwondo, but I would teach gymnastics and acrobat with our church school that we have here. They wanted me to teach. I was like, cool, great, I'll do that. Anyway, so in high school and college, my roommate, I had the same roommate through both those years. He wanted me to teach him how to do different things in Taekwondo because he knew that whenever I would go home, because we would have home leave, whenever I would go home, I would go to class and I would learn different things about Taekwondo, and I would come back to college, to school, and he wanted me to show him what I learned. I was like, I got no problems with that. I'll show you, dude. Let's go. And not only would I teach him, but we would also spar each other so that I would still be fresh and still trained and all that, and he would still know what he was doing. But I realized I loved teaching it. And so when I got back home permanently, which was last year, April, I told my Taekwondo instructor, I was like, hey, I would teach my roommate different little things here and there, but I realized I love teaching him. Is there something I could do? He said, yeah, through Tiger Rock, we have a certified instructor program. What you have to do is you have to assist with me. You have to join the leadership program, and then you have to assist with me for X amount of hours and a certain number of classes. I think it evens out to about 6 months. So anyway, I'm like, great, let's get me in there. He says, hold on, what I want you to do first is I want you to get back into classes like consistently. So I was like, that's fair, he wants me to be fresh and all that. So I did for about 2 months. About 2 months I was just doing classes. I wasn't part of the instructor program. And finally, he's like, all right, you still want to do this? I said, yes. So he got me in the leadership program. I was going to it. I was consistent with it. I never missed a day with the instructor program, which we would meet once a week. All the people who were part of leadership and all that. And I never gave up. I worked for it. I put the time in. I put the effort in. And that's the same thing that you guys can do. If you really, really want something, you got to push for it. You got to really get in there. You got to want it. As much as I wanted to be an instructor, you got to want it too. So anyway, my martial arts journey is still not over. I believe, in my opinion, a martial artist journey is never over because a martial art is not something you do, it's a way of life. Now, does that mean that you got to be like Bruce Lee and be all philosophical? No, but it's a way that you carry yourself. It's a very different standard that you're held up to versus other things. Same thing with being a Christian. You're held up to a certain standard. I've known that because I've been a Christian my whole life. I was raised in a Christian household. But that's something for another video. But anyway, a martial artist is someone who is held up to a higher standard because you know how to defend yourself. But anyway, going off on a different tangent. So anyway, that's my martial arts story up until today. I'm still a certified instructor. I have many stories for you guys. So, yeah, that's my story. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning into this video. Hope you guys have a good day. And yeah, it's been Newt, guys. Later.